All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the crypto market update. My name is Amol. I am the owner of Alpha Trades. Welcome to your market update. Today, what I wanted to talk about is what is happening in the cryptocurrency space, what's happening with NFTs. Specifically, I want to talk about Solana NFTs and then compare data points to OpenSea and Ethereum NFTs. And then I want to talk about the broader market, which is just crypto at large, right? Where is the momentum? Where is the pain trade? What exactly is there as an opportunity for a trade, either to the upside or the downside? And let's start recognizing what altcoins could be beneficial for the coming few months and at what levels, right? So these are the things that I really want to talk about. First, let's start off with Bloomberg. They have Bloomberg has an area where they discuss crypto, and Wall Street Journal and CNN and CNBC and pretty much every news outlet in the world has been painted with all the stuff that happened in Terra Luna last week. And I think everybody now knows that that was a pretty terrible debacle and a really, really bad look to our entire industry, because over, I think, 80 or $100 billion of market cap just evaporated overnight, right? And the sad thing is now we already had trouble with regulators and lawmakers looking at cryptocurrency as this sort of big casino, wild, wild west that needs to be tamed. And this now gives them another reason. So how does that give us some perspective in the current landscape of crypto in terms of the price action? Well, I believe that BTC, especially crypto as a whole, was already looking kind of weak right here as it started to break this big sort of bear flag structure, right? This could be your bear flag. And once it started to break down, I was actually long from this point, thinking that we're going to have a tap at the bottom of the channel and we're going to break up like this. And I was clearly wrong. But the point is that as I got proven wrong right here, as we start to break down, I decided to close out my longs and start getting short. And over the past few days, the only thing that I've been doing is getting short in the market. Okay, majority of my trades are short in the market. And that is because the momentum overall is to the downside. It is very hard to sort of cherry pick bottoms here or catch a falling knife, because you might get just completely slaughtered in an overnight session or in the middle of the day where prices drop 5-10%, especially in altcoins where you see the average drop intraday is 9-10% because the volatility is so high, right? Good altcoins like AVAX are down almost 10%. Solana is down almost 8%. So this is an environment that you need to be increasingly more careful with because the volatility is so high. And you can look at Bitcoin as sort of a safer asset in crypto, yet BTC is also down close to 5% on the day. So what does this tell us about the current environment? Well, we know very well that the stock market has been increasingly guiding prices down for the crypto space due to an overall risk-off sentiment, because we know very well, right? Something that Alex Kruger right here wrote, okay? One thing is apparently very apparent is that the Fed here in the US is clearly concerned about inflation. And so is the EU, right? So are other countries around the world. But the Fed, especially in America, guides a lot of the money flows, the volume, and pretty much capital investment around the world. And they have made it significantly harder for that capital investment because they have themselves sort of removed the liquidity that they provide with quantitative easing, as well as sort of a risk-on environment that they provide with a low interest rate environment. They've hiked interest rates and they've decided to quantitatively tighten. Both these things are sort of a net negative for the market, not only the stock market, but the crypto market as a whole. Now, I don't know if y'all remember, but back in November 2021, when the Fed announced that they're going to start hiking interest rates and they're going to tighten their balance sheet, that was the literal top in crypto. And since then, we've been going down, okay? if you don't think that the Fed has a significant effect on the crypto markets, I don't know what to tell you, right? This is a clear sort of downtrend that was directly impacted by the perfect timing of the Fed. And same thing with the US equity markets, right? Right here, as you can see. Okay, we topped right here around January and December. Basically the same time, again, where BTC and crypto topped, and then we start to go down, okay? Now, as we come to the daily support structures and the weekly support structures of BTC, people are wondering, hey, is this a bottom? And can we start going up from here? Well, we have definitely hit some very key reliable support levels. Okay, for example, the 200 weekly moving average, EMA, right here, as you can see, we hit that, bounce off it perfectly, right? Now, when you generally hit that, you want to start sort of trading up higher and continuing up for the next couple of weeks. That has yet to be seen, right? Can we consolidate higher and start trading up? Like, can we do something like this, like this, like this, and then start shooting up maybe around August or September or something? Maybe, right? Maybe. I'm hoping that is to be the case. But for now, we just have to assume that the capital flows in the market are extremely tough. Our market is very strictly tied to what's happening in the US equity world. And so if the stock market itself doesn't start to show us signs that it's wanting to have a relief bounce, it would be very hard for crypto to have that same sort of relief bounce. And this doesn't just show for Bitcoin, but it applies to Ethereum as well. Right, Ethereum clearly got crushed in the same way that Bitcoin did. It faced the same fate as basically any other altcoin or any other crypto project. Okay, it's down, close to more than 50% from the highs up here. Right. So what does that tell us about BTC and crypto as a whole? Well, we need to start seeing this environment turn around from the macro perspective. And this is what Alex Kruger was talking about, is the Fed is set to increase rates by 50 basis points, and the path is pretty cleanly laid out till September, right? Which is that we're going to keep hiking. We need to clamp down inflation, and no matter what, inflation is our first priority. Jay Powell has also stated that whether we crater the markets further or whether we go into a recession, their first and foremost goal is to clamp down on inflation, because inflation destroys economies and people and wealth worse than anything ever. Okay, so even if it's a mild recession for a quarter or two, then they're okay with it. The Fed is okay with it. And I believe that we're pretty much halfway there, right? A recession is nothing but 2 quarters of consecutive negative GDP prints, okay? So if you look on my timeline right here, I already talked about sort of the saving grace that we may get, if the Fed starts to reverse policy, which is, if we have a negative print again in Q2, which ends in June, right? That is basically a recession, okay? So that means we would have entered recession territory. So that's one reason that the Fed might reverse their policy. They may also state that, hey, inflation has slowed down, so maybe they stop hiking rates, right? Maybe they also delay quantitative tightening. Okay, so all these things are sort of our necessary, necessary components for the market, asset markets like the stock market and crypto markets to start trading up. Until then, we have to assume that the momentum and the trend is down. So what I would probably say is, in any bounces that you may get, you probably want to take this as an opportunity to trade a range, okay? You want to start recognizing that, first of all, if you're not good at technicals or if you're not good at analyzing the market, make sure you watch my other YouTube videos that are for free, but I provide daily analysis, like on the dot, morning and evening US session for my Advantage members. So you could join our Advantage community right here. Okay, our Advantage community resides here in the Discord server. We have our own Discord server where we discuss all things related to crypto, everything that I'm seeing in the market, what I'm recognizing. Okay, and I post exactly what I'm trading, right? For example, in 2021, we started off with the 5,000 account experiment. our 5K challenge. And we ended that 5K count with a gain of almost 430% or 470%. Can't quite remember. 438%, right? As you can see. So we ended that with 27K almost. Okay. Now in 2022, our account currently sits at 3,500. Okay. So we're down about, I think, 20 to 25% in our account. But guess what? We have the remainder of the year ahead of us. Okay. I can make, a lot of good trades as safely as possible by the end of the year and get my account into profitability, right? I'm not too concerned about the day-to-day movements in the market. I try to take the best trades that I can take. Just a simple example is the Ethereum short trade that I took yesterday. It was very simple. I said, hey, it looks like we're at the range high right here. I'm going to take this short, go short with a stop at 32K and take this trade down to about either 29,000 or all the way to 28,000. I decided to cut it a little bit early just because I was kind of afraid that as the US session was opening, we would pump, but I'm glad I got out, right? So I got in right here. I got out this morning right around here. Okay, that's a quick trade that I pointed out to my members where it was a good amount of profit without too much risk. Okay, that's the kind of information that I point out to my Advantage members. And again, it's not financial advice. I'm not asking anybody to copy trade me. I'm just simply showing people what is the analysis of the market and what are the potential trade setups that may be popping up. Okay, you are in charge of your own destiny. If you want to pull the trigger on those trades, whatever size that you want to pick, I just simply lay out my game plan of, exactly my size, my entry, my stop, target profit, etc. Okay. And same goes for the altcoin space, right? Whenever I'm taking a trade in the altcoin world, whether it's Solana or Ethereum or, Rune or AVAX, I just let people know, be very, very careful, especially with high volatility movements like this, because you never know how things are going to pan out and how your stop might just get blown through, or you might have excessive volatility to deal with. So you have to take those things into account for your own sanity. Okay. Now let's move on to the data points. So one thing I believe that is, abundantly clear is, Bitcoin has kind of lost its bid, lost its momentum. And again, something that Alex Kruger kind of pointed out, which is that, first of all, last week we had, a decent amount of panic in the market. And Alex says that, he believes from now until September, we'll probably bounce, we'll probably range, maybe create a wide range, probably retest the lows at a few times. And I personally believe that too, right? Like these lows, there's clearly a lot of buyers around here. And we're going to make those buyers probably, re-question sort of their thesis of why they want to be long. And we want to see how strong these buyers are every time price comes to that level. Okay. So I wouldn't be surprised if price does come down into 26 to 25K, just in case you want to test the resolve of buyers. Right. And then, after that, I would figure that it's going to be a range break in one direction or the other. And I don't know personally how it's going to pan out. I know there's a lot of arguments that 30K, this low right here, might be sort of the low that we saw in 2018, where everybody thought that, hey, this all looks like, all the supply is being absorbed. And from here, we're going to pump on up. If you look at my videos on YouTube back here in October and November 2018, okay, I think I was one of the few people who was pointing out, I stated that from here, we're probably going to dump, all the way down to 3,000 or 2,500. We reached a low of almost 3,100, as you could see, and then we started to push up. Okay, so in 2018, by the way, I was doing analysis in the same way that I'm doing analysis now. I'm not just someone who shows up in bull markets and, starts talking about, here's the shitty altcoin that you want to buy. All right, I'm always here through every cycle of the market, providing good, unbiased analysis for my members. And in my sort of unbiased way, if I'm looking at the market right now, I'll tell you one thing, you do not want to be spending too much time here, okay? And this doesn't just relate to crypto, right? The fact of the matter is that if the market just keeps bouncing at this level lower and lower and does something like this, and we start to break down, I'm almost certain that if we have a breakdown, at minimum, we're going to go back to 21 or 22,000, maybe even lower, like 16 or 15K. Okay. In the same way that we dropped almost 50% basically from, this low right down here, right? That support kept getting hammered over and over again. And then we ultimately broke that down by 50%. Okay. So that's the real concern that I have in BTC. Now, how can we change that? Like I said, we need to start seeing the macro environment change around us, right? We need to see the Fed sort of change their policy. We need inflation to come down. We need the market to be a little bit more risk on again, where people start to realize that, okay, it seems like, prices are going back up again, users are coming back, activity is coming back, volume is coming back. And the problem is that if you look at the larger fundamental data of the crypto space surrounding right now, overall, what we're seeing is a sort of destruction of capital in the futures market. And that generally means that, people are getting wrecked left and right, especially the longs. And that futures open interest, that leverage is getting cleaned up. Now, generally, that's a good thing in markets that are about to reset, but it's not a good thing when markets continuously keep trending down. Because what that implies is, more and more people are sort of getting ruined by taking on levered positions, and that capital is getting destroyed to the downside. And in which case, then prices are going to then, keep going down further. Okay, because then what's happening is people are going long on the levered side, but what's really happening is the spot side is continuously selling. So the spot sellers are selling and selling and selling relentlessly. There's just no bid in the market. So you're seeing continuously that open interest get destroyed. And then of course, as you look at, overall volumes, volumes overall are consistently down. The only reason we have high volume right here, this is a sell side volume, right? Sell side volume spikes like this are not really good. You want to see a continuous grind up in volume to indicate that users and activity and people are coming back. And that's not what this means to me right now. So all in all, I believe that, the next few months of consolidation is going to be healthy for the market. I'm just truly hoping that this $30,000 level does not keep getting hammered into like this and then ultimately break. Okay, that would definitely not be a good thing. But I do agree with Alex that I do think that we're at some point due for a relatively decent bounce, right? If we range like this, I think the range is, something like that, right? Maybe a range low of 25 or 26K and a range high of 32,000. That's a pretty good size range, in my opinion, to trade. And I am very, very excited to trade that range if we do get that opportunity. Okay, so we'll see, how things pan out over the next couple of days, next couple of weeks. As I said, liquidity is pretty dry, right? If you kind of look at the order books across the board, I think it's relatively thin. You could kind of see BitMEX and Bybit slightly more stacked, but everything else, FTX, BTC USD, Bitfinex, Bitstamp, and Coinbase, very, very thin, in my opinion, in terms of the spot side for buyers. Okay, the sellers are continuously just selling, and that is not a good thing. All right, now let's move on to NFTs, and then we can kind of just wrap it up. Okay, so one thing that I found interesting was I was debating back and forth with my members right here, and again, you can join our Discord community by joining the Advantage membership subscription. And we have discussions about NFTs and altcoins and Bitcoin, as you can see right here, right? I put out a ton of analysis for everything, really. Bitcoin analysis. I'm very, very active on a day-to-day basis. Tons of analysis in the altcoin world, everything related to, technical analysis to options data, farming and staking, everything that we're seeing in the market for, passive income strategies, right? So we're pretty active in that regard. So one thing that I was having a discussion with my members is that in the NFT world, do we believe that NFTs as an aggregate are going to go down further as the crypto market gets hammered? And my argument was probably, right? Like, again, I'm trying to play devil's advocate, which is, me realizing that, this is a contrarian view and everybody wants NFTs to go up and we all want one part of the market to survive and do really well because everybody loves JPEGs and art is cool and NFTs are cool, hopefully, right? But the problem is that when overall activity, users, money gets sucked out of the market, liquidity and volatility, and the momentum changes, right? Everything I believe in crypto goes down together. It's just how it's been for the last several years. Crypto is a very sort of reflexive asset class where everything, generally goes up together and everything on the way down definitely goes down hard together. Okay. So now the problem here is that NFT space, I agree, like it has been holding up honestly better than most other aspects of crypto. Okay. I understand that. But the problem is that the NFT world is still very, very young in that when we start seeing, prices get hammered to the downside, like we're seeing, there is no sort of hedging available in NFTs, right? There is no way to de-risk yourself other than to sell. And guess what? When you're selling, okay, your floor prices and the average sale prices don't just spontaneously go up, right? To sort of fill in the void of the actual US dollar exchange. So the perfect example was, I was kind of pointing out to some of the members was that, if you look at some of the different collections like OK Bears or, D-Gods or Cats on Crack, any of these, right? Blocksmith Labs, okay? 2 or 3 weeks ago, okay, these were all trading somewhere close to the same floor price that they are now, maybe slightly higher. But the Solana prices, right, in the past 2 or 3 weeks have gone down close to 50%, right? And like, I think from the middle of April, if I'm not mistaken, Solana has actually gone down now 53% or 52%. And not only that, we also have the floor prices gone down slightly. Okay, to be fair, like majority of the floor prices are actually down from their previous highs that they had. Like actually, I think you can go to Solana Kit. Is it Solana Kit? I think something like that. Okay, if you go here, right, you could do analysis of, okay, so say for example, DGOTs. Like I own DGOTs and I have all the reason to be bullish for DGOTs. I want them to go up. Okay, I get it, right? But here's sort of the analysis, okay? Obviously, floor prices and Twitter engagement, all that, seem like they're up. But here's kind of what happened. The average sale of the floor prices right here was way up here around 340. Currently, they're sitting at 270. Okay, whether you look at D-Gods or OK Bears or anything, right? First of all, that's like a clear lower high in terms of technicals. Okay, and then so now you're paying, okay, so here's how it is. So for example, let's just say you didn't sell at that point. So your floor price that you can sell now is down 21%. But then on top of that, your overall dollar price change from the middle of April till now is down 51%. So as a net negative, you've lost close to about 60 to 70% of the total value from the all-time high of what you could have sold at in dollar terms. See, this is the problem that I have with people trying to sort of talk about NFT world is that how are you going to maintain the prices for some of these floors and average prices as the market loses momentum, as the underlying token that we trade with, whether it's Solana or Ethereum. And by the way, I'm not just pointing at Solana, right? Like I think Solana monthly volumes in April were high, but May they've come down, right? Overall daily volumes seem to be ticking up, but that could also indicate that, again, a temporary pop. But overall, from end of April right here, they're continuously just going down. Daily active users, again, high sort of was, end of April, kind of trading down. So this is my concern that I have for NFTs. And again, I'm open to a discussion because it would honestly benefit me if the market in the NFT world were to keep going up. And I want to find trades. I want to find collections where I can make, good money on, because I personally like trading NFTs. They're fun, they're cool, they're exciting, right? Now, Ethereum, same thing, right? If you can kind of see going back to January, I think volumes for OpenSea topped around that point, and they've been continuously going down. Again, daily volumes continuously trading down. Overall, even the key collections, Bored Ape and Punks and Azukis, all the floor prices have gotten cratered. And on top of that, right, not only have floor prices gotten, broken down, what we see is Ethereum prices, okay, since beginning or middle of April, right? So for example, let's just say, somewhere around here, right? Middle of April, okay? Ethereum prices are also down about 35, 36%. So how do you recoup that gap of 30 to 35% falling prices plus the floor prices falling? Well, I don't know. And that's why I'm just asking questions. I'm not here to talk about, well, hey, NFT market's going to die and it's going to go to zero or anything. I'm honestly rooting for it. And I would love for one part of the market to be tradable. I just want to understand how, and I want to hear different people's opinions. I hope people do join our community. There's a link in the top right of the YouTube description or in the video, as well as the YouTube description below. Make sure y'all hit the link, please. And, come join the NFT discussion area, the free side. Also come hang out in the altcoin chat or the Bitcoin chat. Tell us, what you think is happening in the market. I'm very inclined to know how people are looking at the market, okay? Overall positioning and liquidations, right? I mean, it seems like the market is calming down. I feel like this week is going to be a choppy week. I don't see a whole lot of, massive, big up and down movements. I think it's just going to range. I think funding overall has also come down a decent amount, but still negative. I think it's come down from yesterday, 2 days ago. So that's good. Negative funding is effectively, indication that we may have, short squeeze to the upside. So definitely keep your eye on high funding areas like Axie right here. GMT has high funding. Polkadot has relatively high funding. Those are going to be susceptible to bigger short squeezes to the upside. So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I hope y'all come join our 5K count challenge that I've talked about. As you can see, come join our community. Come hang out with us in Discord. Until then, take care, everybody. Good luck. I hope to see y'all soon. Cheers.